The topics and opinions expressed on the following show are solely those of the hosts and their guests and not those of W4WN Radio, its employees, or affiliates. We make no recommendations or endorsements for radio show programs, services, or products mentioned on air or on our web. No liability, explicit or implied, shall be extended to W4WN Radio, its employees, or affiliates. Any questions or comments should be directed to those show hosts. Thank you for choosing W4WN Radio.
Hello, dear souls. Thank you for visiting us today. This is a day that has already started out with complications. And who knows why we have glitches in our life, why the computer doesn't work one day and it works the next, why people misunderstand what we say. We have a lot of whys to throw at God, don't we? And I'm certainly one of them. So we're here. That's the important thing. We had a little glitch in the beginning. Don't ask me what or why, but we're here. And we hope that you will subscribe and you will tell others about our channel and that you will contact us at angelbettyray@gmail.com and let us know how you like the show. It is our endeavor, as Raphael has encouraged us, to speak to you through this channel. And so we are here in our home office with our lovely stained glass angel. We have the chakra lights behind us, if you can see it over here. Oops, there. And we use these every night to meditate because we light candles, and we, meaning my friend Holly and I, we meditate and stay quiet for a while. Sometimes it's hard to keep my mind on focus. And sometimes I feel like I'm nodding off and going to sleep, but I come back to it. And what do you do when you meditate? Do you just sit there and be quiet and wait for something to hit you on the head and say, I'm here? No, it doesn't work that way. What I try to do is visualize an inner sanctuary. I have a place inside my imagination where it is a beautiful piece of property that has lawn that never needs to be cut, never has any mosquitoes. It has beautiful oak trees and blue spruce trees, and it has flower gardens. I don't know that much about flowers, but I love the colors and the different variety. I can have lilacs, so I do remember that every spring in Michigan, on trees that are just loaded with that wondrous smell. I can have it year-round in my inner sanctuary. And so we encourage you, Raphael and I, to create an inner sanctuary within you and to make it so that you can go there when you are stressed out. And that's kind of why I'm talking about this, because just getting on the show and getting the right link to it was a challenge today. And you know what? Nobody is immune from challenges, and that includes people who are supposed to be whatever with it. I can tell you right now that I have as many challenges as you do. And so we were going to talk about prosperity and abundance today. And it is something that everybody's looking for. I'm sorry. If it isn't one thing, it's another, right? Well, prosperity and abundance hasn't just to do with having enough money in your pocket to pay the bills. It has to do with all your needs being met. And you know, there's called the law of balance. When I was meditating today, I do a lot of journaling. That's one way of meditating. And I put that up there because I wanted to be able to read it to you. I asked what the topic would be. In fact, I walked my labyrinth today and asked God, what would he like me to talk about? And remember, God isn't a he or a she, but we'll use he as the pronoun. And I was told the law of balance. Now, I was also told that we do have the influence of the emotional impact from previous lifetimes. The emotions are the thing we carry with us, and the soul comes back to balance those emotions. But it also comes back to continue the exploration of the planet. You know, people don't think of that. They think that we're karmically, we have to come back and we have to have another lifetime. No, we are explorers of physical worlds. And many people are finding out now that they live on, or they did live on, other planetary existence. And so there are the Pleiadians, and there's this and there's that. I don't really keep up with it, but I know that's certainly possible because all things are possible with God. We are an abundant example of God's amazing power of creation. Every single one of us on this planet, and we're in the billions, right? Every single one of us is God in action. And I wanted to bring back in Raphael's book because the very first part of it, get this out of here. The very first part of it in chapter 1 asks, "Who am I?" And see all the question marks. And then it says, "We say unto you," Raphael says, "we say unto you, beloved soul, God is pure love energy, giving life to all that exists in both physical and non-physical worlds. God created your soul and sent it forth as an explorer to planet Earth, within a perfect spacesuit called a physical body, accompanied by a faster vibrating duplicate body called a spirit that holds your conscious awareness as well as all of your emotions." That's what we're going to talk about today. Your emotions that cannot reason or understand, but can trigger your mind and heart to rediscover that you are one with God. So we start out is that God is here. Now, I said in answer in the book, "Wow, that about sums it all up, Raphael." And Raphael said, "Indeed, Ray, we have summarized the heart of all questions, and each one brings an answer that in turn brings you closer to God and the knowledge that we are all one with the Creator. Although we may oversimplify," he says, "with the above statement, we shall elaborate further throughout this book so as to bring clarity to these concepts. Let these truths light your way through earth's darkness and seeming loneliness. Know we are always with you, loving you, and guiding you." And that's the thought for today, because you are a package that is created by God. And because it's created by God, God is there as part of that package, because everything that exists, everything, physical, non-physical, is a particle of God that is the entire essence of God in that tiny little drop of God. And that's what you need to remember. You are constantly changing and shifting and growing and learning and experiencing. And those emotions are helping you to understand the physical condition. Those emotions can be really hard at times when you just feel tired and you can't seem to think and all you want to do is lay down and sleep. If you can do it, that's great. But if you've got a job and you can't do it, that's not so great. So you learn to do abdominal breathing. This is what Raphael is telling me right now. When you can't take a nap, take a deep breath. Relax your shoulders, because your tension that is from your emotions, the emotions are what cause your tension in your body. And it's also what can cause dis-ease in the body, because when you have tension, when you have anxiety, when you have fear, you are blocking those meridians in your body from sending you healing energy and keeping you well and happy. So when you find your mind in a dark state, that's when you stop whatever you're doing and you take a deep breath that goes all the way down to your gut. If it doesn't move your gut, it hasn't gotten deep enough. So we've said this, I don't know how many times before. Forgive us for repeating it. But it's so important to understand that you are a package of emotions, and those emotions can rule your life and create misery for you if you allow them to run away into the negative polarity of the planet. You are in a planet of polarities, of opposites. And so your emotions all have opposites. Love has hate. High has low. It's part of your emotions. They can be up high and you can feel great and you could be laughing and having a good time. And the next day you don't want to get out of bed. And why? You don't always know why. So, dear friends, know that your emotions are the package of what you came in with and what you brought with you from other lifetimes. You know, phobias are caused by previous lifetimes. For example, if you have a phobia about water, you could have had a previous death of drowning. That'll give you a phobia. You'll have a fear of drowning when you've never had the experience in this lifetime. It can be bleeding in from a previous lifetime. So when you have these just makes no sense kind of emotions, begin to look at them from a higher perspective. And also remember that there's no karma. You know, people have this idea that you've come back, and if your life is miserable, that you're being punished for something you did in a previous lifetime. That's a bunch of nonsense. That is not true. God does not punish. I'm going to say that again. God only loves you. God does not punish. And I've said this before, and I probably have lost listeners because they so believe in hell that when I say there is no hell, because God is pure love. And God doesn't have the capacity of creating a hell. Only us humans can do that. We can create hell and damnation because we want to have revenge if somebody does us a wrong. We want to have justice if somebody has committed a crime. So we have our laws, we have our judges, we have our courts. And that's the human condition, but that's not God's way. God knows us as souls experiencing an emotional trip through planet Earth. An emotional trip through planet Earth. Think about that. You are a package of emotions, and it is constantly changing. The weather can do it. Somebody's unkind word can just plummet you down into a lower emotion. Think of the emotions as a barometer. You know, when you have a fever, there's kind now you just put it on your forehead and it'll show what it is. But the old-fashioned ones, they were a mercury, and they were, just a long silver glass thing, and you used to put it under your tongue. So think of that as what would be your emotions. So when you put it under your tongue, you're measuring your emotions. And it will show, if you are happy, it will show that instead of being a fever, it'll show that the barometer will go way, way up because you are happy and you are filled with happiness. So imagine that at the top of that barometer, if you're okay, also use that thing at the carnival where if you bang on that thing at the bottom, the bell will go up and it'll hit the top, right? All right. What you want to do is hit the top and be in a good, happy mood. So how do you do that when you're not? Well, the most important thing you do is breathing. And there are people who teach yoga. My friend teaches yoga. And the first most important thing they teach is breathing. When you learn how to breathe through an emotional crisis, when you learn how to trust that it too will pass, then you can begin to have the inspiration of what to do to solve the problem in the moment. It's so important. You know, people have this idea of prosperity and abundance. And there's been all kinds of classes and how to think about prosperity and abundance. And yet people are still in poverty. And they say, I've tried all those things and still I can't find a job. Or I still don't have enough money to even put food on the table. I have to go to a food bank, and that's embarrassing. Those kinds of situations are what has been your story for this lifetime. Your soul is balancing all of those lifetimes. It is not karma as a punishment. It is what we call the exploration of the yin and the yang, of the up and the down, of the inside and outside of the planet Earth. Think of yourself as an explorer of planet Earth. You're a soul. You put on a spacesuit. It's called a physical body. You come here to planet Earth to explore it, to find out what it's like to be human. Because you see, your soul doesn't have the emotions. Only as a physical being can you experience emotions. And yet, your soul carries that package of emotions, and it knows that in order to be balanced, it has to resolve those emotions, which is why it keeps coming back. So if you get all tangled up in knots and you can't unravel them, you haven't figured out how to unravel them, then you got to ask your guardian angel to help you understand why you're here. And that's a big why, isn't it? Well, you're here for many reasons. It's never just one. One of the big reasons is to unravel those emotions and things that have caused you to have trouble in a previous lifetime. You likely bring it back again so that you have an opportunity to figure it out and do it such that you can get rid of it and it doesn't haunt you again. So, for example, if somebody has an anger problem and they die in a fight, we'll say, they get killed, they're going to sure as the dickens come back again because they got to figure out what happened. And they're not going to say, well, if I had given him a right hook instead of a left hook. No, they're not going to say that. They're going to say, what led me into that fight in the first place? And maybe it was an uncontrolled issue of emotions called anger. There's anger management now. And I'm reading a book, John Grisham's book, and it's about a man who was abusive to his family. And I won't tell you more, except that it's a good book. John Grisham is one of my favorite authors. I'll give him a plug right there. And so I read pretty much everything that he writes. And this one, domestic violence is part of the frustration that men have when they can't have their needs met. And they get so frustrated that they want to lash out. And their wives are often right there to take the lashing. It's unfortunate, but it's what happens. And there's many people who are trying to counsel and help people who have anger issues. But that's one of the emotions that the soul is exploring in this particular world. And it's something that shows how advanced the soul is. If it is an immature soul, it will result to physical violence to solve a problem because they haven't learned how to negotiate, to use words, to be able to stay calm. They haven't learned how to control the emotions. And there are a lot of them on the planet. And they are creating wars. And they are dictators that want to have power and control. And they want to rule. Those are immature souls because they think that's what will make them happy, to be in control. We all want to be in control of our lives, don't we? We all want to have what's good. We want to be able to have enough of everything. So this whole idea of creating prosperity and abundance has caught on. It has really caught on. But it has also caused people so much frustration because no matter how hard they concentrate on being prosperous and having abundance, nothing's worked. And this pandemic has really thrown a microwave. Well, anyway, it's thrown something into the clinker and it's caused your ability to create what you need to be very weakened. The pandemic has caused people to lose jobs. which is creating poverty and all kinds of necessities being not able to be filled. So people are saying, oh, if only I could win the lottery. I don't know if there's any statistics, but I suspect that there are more people buying lottery tickets now than ever before because they think of that as a solution, but it isn't. You know what the percentage is of winners for the lottery. Very, very slim for the thousands of people that are buying lottery tickets to try and solve that problem of prosperity and abundance. We suggest you don't spend your money on it. And what can you do? Well, this is the key thing that we want to share with you. It's not a secret, but this is how you can gain the prosperity and abundance you need. First of all, you learn how to relax the body, to let go of the tension in the shoulders, to let go of the tension in your gut, to relax every single muscle in your body. And when you can do that and you can breathe deeply, the next step is to awaken your imagination. Now, many people who teach prosperity and abundance say, well, if you want a new car, put the picture on your refrigerator. I've told this story before. I had a young man who told me he was doing all the right things that he was taught for prosperity and abundance. He had a picture of his Ferrari on the refrigerator, a red one no less. And he kept focusing on that every time he opened the door. And he kept meditating on it. And I asked him, how do you meditate? And he said, well, I just try to get quiet and I visualize the car. That's what I do. And I said, and by the way, do you have any credit card debts? And he goes, well, yeah. And I said, how much? And he said, oh, a lot. And I said, how many credit cards do you have? Spirit was telling me. And he said, I have 2 of them and they're maxed out. And I went, oh my goodness. Well, you don't get prosperity and abundance through a credit card. How do you do it? Well, if you have to have 3 jobs to do it, you have 3 jobs. But if you don't even look for a job, as in this case, the young man had not, he thought all he could do was meditate and he would be given prosperity and abundance. And it doesn't work that way. When you are meditating, you get ideas. It's the ideas that you get from spirit that tell you what to do to have prosperity and abundance. And it might mean that you have to go and get a very lowly paid job that will at least put bread and butter on the table. It means that you might have to bury your pride and go to the food, whatever it is, the food market that they're giving away food. And people have had to do that during this pandemic because so many people have lost jobs. They can't afford to hardly pay the rent. And many people are ending up on the streets. This has been a really tough time. And prosperity and abundance seems like a joke to people. What is prosperity and abundance? For the very rich, but not for the very poor. And so what do? Well, you cannot let your emotional barometer sink deep into darkness. You have to be able to lift up your heart and mind and soul to God and say, I'm here, God. Tell me what I need to do. And then you get quiet and you let your imagination run. And you will find that there is a job somewhere just for you. Now, you might have been a highly paid technician in something. Well, there are many people who come from other countries here who are very talented and very qualified in their field, but they can't get a job here. And so they're doing very lowly janitor work if they have to. But they're willing to do that. And you have to be willing to do whatever it is that is offered to you. Pride cannot enter into it. Now, I know there are many of you who it isn't pride anymore. It's a matter of where do I get the next meal to feed my kids? And I know you will find the next meal, because when you trust that all your needs are met this day and every day of your life, you will be given the answer of where to go and what to do. Don't let pride get in your way if that's the cause. And if you have to stand in line for food, for a meal to take to your family, then that's what you have to do. But prosperity and abundance is not just for the rich. It's for you as well as for me. Now, I've been blessed in so many ways that I am doing my readings for people free because of that blessing. And so if you want to have a reading with Raphael, it's free. I don't charge. And if you live too far away, I had a woman in Australia who we couldn't figure out how to get together, even with Zoom. And so I said, ask me your questions and I will email you the answers as Raphael gives them to me. So if you want to do that, we can do that. That's though you go to angelbettyray@gmail.com and you will be able to contact me for a time that we can set up. If we can do a phone reading, if you're too far away for that, then we can do a Zoom meeting. I'll figure out how to do it, or some way, because there's always a way if we put our minds to it. And there's always a way to find the prosperity and abundance that will fill all your needs. But you have to let go of fear and anxiety, because that blocks that barometer. Remember, we were talking about the barometer? If you can make it go up to the total red zone of joy, then you will be inspired what to do, and you'll be amazed at the things that will come to you that you never thought of before. But you've first got to calm your body down. You've got to calm your emotions down. So if you have anxiety and fear, you're not going to be able to get answers from your angels. So we say again, first thing you have to do is calm the body. And you do that by relaxing every muscle from your toes, curling them under, to your fists, making a fist and then stretching your fingers out like that, to your abdomen, to your shoulders, to your head, relaxing and concentrating on allowing yourself to open up to new ideas, constantly saying, thank you, God, for new ideas to solve this particular problem. You continuously allow your imagination to awaken, and you will be amazed at how you will find solutions to the problem. So this has been our main theme, but let's talk again about prosperity and abundance in today's world. When you have a challenge, when you can allow yourself to get quiet and have thanksgiving in your heart for this challenge, that's the hard part. Can you give thanks for this challenge? And then you know you will be open to new ideas. If you are angry at God because you're in this position, that anger will block any ideas from God to help you solve a problem and to help your soul learn how to work in a physical world that has an abundance of emotions to deal with. That's what your soul is here to do. It's an explorer of physical worlds. And planet Earth is a real challenge. This is not kindergarten for souls. Planet Earth is college and even graduate school. So don't feel sorry for yourself if things aren't going right. Instead, tuck in your gut, relax your shoulders, stand up tall, and say, I can overcome anything with God's help. Now, I'm not a religious fanatic. I have been affiliated with the church, and I'm no longer affiliated with any church because I truly go straight to God. And that's what I'm encouraging you to do. Go straight to God. I sometimes see myself as a little child sitting on God's lap, and I cuddle next to him, and he has his arms around me. He is my Father, and he loves me so much. And I feel that love and I swell up with it. And when I can do that, I can get these goosies that go through me. And I can think I can challenge anything that is in my path. And I will overcome anything that tries to stop me from my happiness and from my being all that I can be on this planet. So, dear ones, put on the armor of God. It is you. You are God. Every ounce of you, every drop of blood, every cell, everything that you are is God in manifestation. You have power that you haven't even tapped into yet. You have power to create what you need, but don't think of creating money. Rather, think of creating solutions to problems. When you can open up your mind, get rid of fear and anxiety, and rejoice that all your needs are met this day and every day of your life, you will be inspired just like that, what you need to do. Even if it means to get your bags and go to the food line and take what you need to get for your family for that day. It may take a little bit of humility when you've been so powerful before and able to take care of all your needs. And when you see cheating in the world, when you see people selfishly taking all they want and not caring about their neighbor, don't judge them. Don't even be near them if it upsets you. Turn away. And certainly don't buy a lottery ticket. Instead, save that extra buck or however it is. I don't even know because I don't buy them. Save that for something special for a friend or for a spouse. And do that instead of the lottery ticket. Because the chances of you winning the lottery are so small that that little bit that you put in for a ticket could be used as a gift to someone who needs it more than you do. Okay, now we certainly are here for comments. I don't see anybody here today. I hope that you are here and that you can ask me questions so that I can answer them for other people who are also thinking about those questions. And if not, don't hesitate to email me at angelbettyray@gmail.com. It's running across the bottom of the screen there. And a lot of people don't catch this weekly show, but they do catch us on iHeartRadio or Pandora. And it's never too late, even though it isn't a live show anymore. Don't hesitate to contact us if you would like to have the Archangel speak directly to you. And so, back to our topic, prosperity and abundance. Boy, we certainly had, that was what I was thinking about it, a wrench thrown into the works of being able to be prosperous and abundant during this pandemic when so many businesses had to shut down because they couldn't be opened. Restaurants especially were hurt by that. And I finally went to a restaurant the other day. I had my mask on until I was ready to eat my food. It was so nice to have somebody fix something for me. And I certainly hope that we are at a time when we can do that. And yet we hear about this new variant of the virus, and it may just slam those doors shut again. But do listen to the science, people. Do listen to what the CDC tells us about it, because they're the experts. When I say an expert, we're talking about somebody who has studied viruses, who knows how they work and how they function, who knows it inside and out. Those are the ones we want to listen to, not some newscaster that says, oh, don't pay attention to that. You can go without a mask. Don't listen to somebody that's a dumbbell. Listen to the scientists. And I know I'm preaching to the choir here because anybody who's listening to this show already has enough smarts to know to do that. But there are people out there that are working through their emotions and not their intellect. And this is what happens to a lot of people who follow blindly somebody who is a leader that's leading them down the wrong path. And they don't care. They're just following blindly. Take me wherever you want me to go. And if I get killed along the way, oh, well, maybe I don't want to do that. Pay attention. Pay attention to your own divine guidance. That's how you have prosperity and abundance, dear ones. Your own guidance comes from deep within you, and it can't allow negative energy and emotions to blind you to truth. Pay attention. I remember trying to teach my 8th grade language arts students the difference between opinion and fact. Do you know, I don't think I ever got through to them. One boy said, "Well, I hate school, and that's a fact." His emotion of hate about school was a fact to him because it was so real. Because it's real doesn't make it a fact. Your emotions are not facts. Your emotions are that. They're the barometer that helps you feel what is going on in your life. But your feelings can be blinded. Your feelings can be, I can't find the right word. They can lie to you because you can feel something very strongly, and yet you don't have any facts to back it up. It's just what you heard, or you went online and you read something, and that really got you churned up feeling wise, and it got you angry, and it made you want to lash out because somebody said this and somebody else said that, and therefore that's a fact. Nope, that's not true. The only kind of facts are those that don't have emotions in them. 2 + 2 = 4. No emotion about that, is there? Mathematics is unemotional. But opinions are very emotional. And if you're talking about an opinion, you're not dealing with facts. And do you need to? Absolutely, you need to. So prosperity and abundance is an emotional state of believing all your needs are met. You could be poorer than the church mouse, and if all of your needs are met, you are full of prosperity and abundance. It's not how much money's in the bank. It's how much joy is in your heart. And if you have trust and joy, and you have a happy attitude, and all of your needs are met, it's probably why. Because when you are open and receptive to new ideas, it will solve problems. Everybody has problems. Boy, I have problems getting on the show today. Couldn't quite get the passcode to get in. And that's why we were late. I hope you didn't abandon us because we were late. Who knows why that happens? But it did. We tried a couple of times, and finally I was able to get in. Now, sometimes I think that there's maybe dark energy that doesn't want Betty Ray to be talking with Raphael and giving you messages. Who knows? That's my imagination. That's not a fact. I can't say it's a fact. I do know that there is energy from darkness to light. It's like that barometer we're talking about. The dark energy is the emotions of fear, anxiety, depression, anger. Those are dark energy emotions. Light energy is laughter, humor, joy, all of those, love, peace, harmony. Those are all filled with light. And yet, how do you grab a hold of something that's abstract like that? It's an emotion. You feel it inside, right in here. And then you know what it is. But if you are in a dark mood, you're not going to have a sense of humor. It just goes out the window. But if you're in a happy mood, you're smiling. You smile at strangers. Even with a mask on, they can see the smile in your eyes. Can you do that even when you're in a bad mood? Because that's what prosperity and abundance is all about, dear friends. When you feel that all your needs are met in this moment in time, when you are not worried about where your next meal comes from, then you know prosperity and abundance. But if you do have to worry about where your next meal is coming from, if you do have to look up online, or if you even have a computer, if you do have to have those problems, then those are ones that your soul has chosen for you to solve. You're here on the planet to experience the lack of prosperity and abundance so that you can create it. And how do you do that? It begins with your intellect, and then it goes to your heart and your emotions. When you can trust yourself to solve the problems, that there's always a solution to every problem, when you can trust that and joyously give thanks to God for helping you solve those problems, then they come. They come in an inspiration, just in a snap of your fingers. It's like you catch your breath and you go, oh, I can do that. Why didn't I think of that before? And off you go. So, meditation is something everybody needs to learn. Because if you don't know how to get quiet, to get that brain to slow down, to get the words to stop flowing and allow pictures to come, because that's how you really receive more from your angels, is in pictures and abstract ideas. Comes again in a snap of a finger. You need to learn to do deep breathing. When you take a deep breath, your shoulder doesn't work. It's your abdomen that fills up. You let your gut swell up. Okay, I just had a thing that said is for audio only.
We're past time.
Pardon me?
We're past time.
Oh, no. I'm looking at my clock. I thought I had more time. Thank you for letting me know that. And thank you for coming today, everyone. God bless you. I know you will find prosperity and abundance. And until next time, God is with you. Bye.